Am I the a-hole for saying my parents only adopted my sisters to feel good about themselves within my sister's earshot because I was upset? I, 14 male, was kind of raised by committee. My parents paid for various daycares, camps, and then boarding schools, and in return didn't have to have me stay with them as far back as I can remember. Most weren't bad or anything, and I'm sure they meant well. I'm just really sensitive, and my love languages veer hard towards touch and praise, so I'm still working on having gifts like being sent to camp really hit right as affection. I was never homesick or anything, because I didn't have a home to be sick for, but it wasn't the best time. Anyway, 2 years ago, my parents got really into the idea of being parents. They took in and then adopted my sisters, Merida, 14 female, having been in foster care, and Melissa, 13 female, who was orphaned at a young age, and has been the ward of several members of our family. She's fully adopted to us now, don't worry. I'll be sending her stupid puns until I die. Then I'll just haunt her and say them to her face. I was brought back and told I wouldn't be returning to boarding school. They wanted me there to bond with my sisters and make sure they were completely cemented into our family. They were really happy about how exciting and sweet it would be to be a family all together. And it's been amazing. I admit this is more like living with distant relatives who happen to be my parents than any great, world-changing familial love I was hoping for, but it's still there. Yesterday, they told me they want to send me to a 8-week camp and then a boarding school. They said it was because the house just felt too crowded, and they wanted time to focus on my sisters, and that anyway I was too spoiled and entitled and could make them feel less sure of themselves. I asked when, and they said that it wasn't anything I had done. Exactly. I was just the eldest, plus a boy, plus their bio kid, so I could make them feel insecure by accident. I snapped that I felt pretty insecure too after not being raised by them, and they don't mollycoddle me about it, and they got really serious. They said that I knew nothing of loneliness, that my sisters had suffered horribly while I was becoming an entitled, spoiled brat. They're not wrong. While Melissa was repeatedly abandoned by her family and Merida was in foster care, I had a really easy life. I was never a ward of the state or sleeping on a stranger's couch or anything. I just don't want to leave home again because it kind of feels like I'll be leaving my family, being socially disowned, which I know is irrational, especially since my sisters are way better at talking on the phone than my parents. But it feels like they should at least try to comfort me for 10 minutes. It feels like I'll never come home again until I'm an adult. And by then, I'll have no real claim at all on their affection. Anyway, this whole mess dissolved like they always do. I objected, they started upping their threats, I pleaded, and then threw a fit. Mature, I know. They just talked to me. I'm off school for a bad fever, and affirmed that I have no say in this. Here's where I absolutely screwed up. I said that my sisters aren't the only ones who've ever suffered, and I said that my parents only loved my sisters because it made them feel good about themselves. My sisters definitely heard that, and I'm so scared I hurt them. They don't have any part in this, but I'm not sure if I'm the a-hole for questioning my parents' motives to their face. I was told to go to camp and then boarding school, and promptly threw a tantrum, questioned my parents' love for me and then their motives for loving my sisters. In the process, I accidentally implied my parents don't actually love my sisters.